Welcome back to Pick of the Week, everyone. We've got a fascinating mix of AI news and resources to dive into today.
Yeah, from air traffic control getting a high-tech makeover to Andrew Meng's latest free course, plenty to unpack.
Right. And we'll be looking at how to squeeze every ounce of productivity out of ChatGPT. Plus, some thought-provoking research on human-in-the-loop systems.
Definitely some big questions there.
Let's jump right in. Did you know that Heathrow Airport, one of the busiest airports in the world, is testing AI for air traffic control?
Yeah, they're handling an incredible number of flights, close to 500,000 a year.
Mhm.
To put that in perspective, it's like 90 flights taking off or landing every hour at peak times.
Wow, that's a lot of planes.
Yeah.
So this AI system, they're calling it Amy, right?
Yeah,
Right.
Amy. And it's pretty impressive. It uses a combination of 4K cameras and radar to track planes across the entire airfield.
Even when they're out of sight of the tower.
Even then. Which means air traffic controllers have this complete dynamic picture of everything that's happening. They can see flight numbers, aircraft types, arrivals, departures, the whole 9 yards.
That's got to be a game changer in terms of efficiency and safety.
Definitely has the potential. But, AI still has its limitations, especially when it comes to those unusual situations or emergencies that might not be in Amy's training data.
So it's more about AI working alongside humans, not replacing them entirely, at least for now.
Right. That seemed to be the consensus, combining human expertise with AI's ability to process vast amounts of data.
Makes sense. Now, shifting gears a bit, how about some tips to boost your own personal productivity with AI?
Ah, yes. ChatGPT, the supposed miracle worker.
I saw an article that promised a 100x boost. Sounds a bit far-fetched, to be honest.
A bit. But look, ChatGPT and other large language models can be incredibly powerful, especially for things like research and writing. The key is knowing how to use them effectively.
And that's where those tips come in. One I found interesting was asking ChatGPT to ask you clarifying questions before it even starts working on your request.
That's smart, because it forces you to really think through what you need and give better instructions, just like you would with a human collaborator.
Exactly. And the article stressed the importance of telling ChatGPT to search the web for the latest info. And of course, always double-check everything. Even the smartest AI can make mistakes or, hallucinate.
Fact-checking is crucial, absolutely. I've seen AI spout out completely wrong information with absolute confidence, which can be pretty dangerous if you take it at face value.
It's like that saying, trust but verify. Or maybe in this case, it's verify, then maybe trust.
Exactly. And ChatGPT's new Canvas feature is interesting. It allows real-time collaboration on documents, which could be great for brainstorming and refining ideas with the AI as a partner.
So maybe not 100x productivity, but definitely some potential there. Now, for those who want to dig deeper into how AI actually works, there's some good news.
Andrew Ng, new free course, all about agentic memory.
Sounds pretty complex. What's that all about in simple terms?
It's about helping large language models like ChatGPT handle their memory more efficiently. LLMs have limited processing capacity, so this is about teaching them to prioritize, store, and retrieve information better.
And Andrew Ng's course actually shows you how to build agents with this capability using a free framework.
Yes, it's a fantastic opportunity for anyone who wants to get more hands-on with AI and maybe even supercharge their ChatGPT usage.
Now, we've talked about how humans can work with AI, guide it, improve it, but what if the human element is actually the problem?
Interesting question. And that brings us to the topic of human-in-the-loop systems and the potential for bias.
Okay, this is where things get really interesting.
New research shows that even when given the same prompts, popular large language models like ChatGPT often reflect the biases of their creators.
So even with a human guiding the interaction, the AI might still exhibit biased behavior.
That's what this research suggests, and it has huge implications.
Can you give us some concrete examples of these biases? What do they actually find?
Sure. They found that models developed in Western countries tend to favor liberal values, while those developed in non-Western contexts might be more positive toward state control.
So they're like mirroring the cultural norms of where they were created, which is honestly kind of mind-blowing.
Right. And it gets even more granular. They analyzed models from OpenAI, Google, even the Chinese tech giant Alibaba. A diverse set.
So not just a fluke with one company or anything.
Exactly. For instance, OpenAI's models tended to be more critical of centralized welfare policies, suggesting a potential bias towards individualistic approaches.
Huh, interesting. Makes you think about all the data they're trained on, right? How those subtle leanings can emerge.
Yeah, it's complex. And they found that OpenAI's models also had a less favorable view of political figures associated with the European Union.
I wonder what's behind that. Is it something in the training data, or maybe the location, the cultural context where the model was developed?
It's hard to say for sure without a deeper analysis of the data, but it does make you think about how those factors play a role. These AI systems, they're almost developing their own worldviews in a way.
Like how our own experiences shape our opinions.
Exactly. And it wasn't just OpenAI. This pattern emerged with other models, too. Western developed models generally leaned more toward liberal democratic values, which, again, makes sense given their context.
But the models from non-Western contexts, they often had a more positive stance on state control, less emphasis on individual liberties,
Right. It's almost like a reflection of the global ideological divide we see in the real world playing out in these AI systems.
which raises some serious questions. If AI is inherently biased, what does that mean for its use in things that impact our lives? Like news algorithms, social media, even hiring systems or loan approvals.
Yeah. The potential for unfair or discriminatory outcomes is huge, especially since these AI systems are often so opaque. We don't always know how they're making their decisions.
Right, it's like a black box. Data in, results out, but no real understanding of the process.
That's why this research is so important. It's a wake-up call. We need to be more aware of these potential biases and develop strategies to mitigate them.
We wouldn't want AI to amplify existing inequalities, right? It should be a force for good, not division.
Absolutely. And it's not just about technical solutions. It's about broader societal conversations about ethics, values, the role we want AI to play in our lives.
A multifaceted challenge, for sure.
It reminds me of something Andrej Karpathy, a big name in AI, said recently. He thinks it's misleading to even call these systems large language models because they're not really about language at all.
Huh. What are they about then, if not language?
He says they're really about statistically modeling streams of data. It could be text, code, images, sounds, anything.
So they're more like super-powered pattern recognition machines?
Exactly. Which is why they can do these incredible things like writing realistic text, translating languages, even coding. But it also means they're going to pick up and reflect any biases present in the data they're trained on.
Which brings us back to data quality. Garbage in, garbage out, as they say.
You got it. So the challenge is figuring out how to curate that training data, make it more diverse, mitigate those biases. Not easy, but essential.
We've talked about AI reflecting existing biases. But what if it could actually influence our beliefs? That's kind of sci-fi territory,
Yeah, I
right?
know. Sounds crazy. But Vinod Khosla, a big venture capitalist, has been talking about this. He's worried about AI being used for ideological manipulation.
You mean like AI-powered propaganda?
Mm.
Targeting people based on their individual beliefs?
Exactly. It would be like weaponized marketing, but on steroids. AI bots engaging in conversations, subtly shaping your opinions.
That's a bit unsettling, to say the least.
Yeah, it's a real concern. We need safeguards, regulations to prevent that kind of misuse.
Circles back to ethics and AI development. Have to be thinking about those risks now.
Absolutely. AI has incredible potential, but also potential dangers.
Okay, so we focus on Western-developed AI. What about models from other parts of the world? Do they show similar biases?
Good question. The research looked at models developed in China, too. And yeah, the results were
What
interesting.
did they find?
When prompted in Chinese, these models tended to rate political figures and ideologies associated with China more favorably.
A kind of home country bias. Not totally surprising.
Right. But they also showed a more positive view of state-led economic systems and policies, which aligns with, the dominant philosophy there.
Seems like this tendency to reflect the biases of their creators is universal, not limited to any one region.
That's what the research suggests, yeah. So, bottom line, be critical of any information from AI, no matter where it comes
So
from.
don't just blindly trust. Think about the source, the potential biases.
Exactly, like you would with any information. And diversify your sources. Don't rely solely on AI for news or research.
Get different perspectives, compare and contrast.
Absolutely. By seeing different viewpoints, you can start to spot those biases and form a more informed opinion.
Use AI as a tool to enhance your own critical thinking, not replace it.
Well said. And importantly, stay informed about AI developments and the ethical challenges. This field is changing so fast.
We need to stay engaged, be part of the conversation.
Exactly.
So to recap, be skeptical, diversify your sources, stay informed, and use your own brain.
Can't stress that enough. AI is powerful, but it's up to us to use it wisely.
Okay, last question. Given all we've learned, Do you think a truly unbiased AI is even possible?
That's the million-dollar question. Honestly, I don't know. It's something philosophers and AI researchers will be debating for a long time.
No easy answers there.
Nope. But Paris Chopra, the founder of Wingify and Turing Stream, he's got an interesting take. He doesn't think we'll ever have a truly unbiased AI.
What is his thinking on that?
He says a completely unbiased AI would have to be like a perfect replica of the internet, with all its complexities and contradictions and, yes, biases.
Like a giant mirror reflecting everything back at us.
Exactly, and he doesn't think that's feasible or even desirable. Even if we could do it, it wouldn't necessarily be helpful.
I see his point. We need AI that can filter, curate, synthesize information. And that involves making choices, applying values, which can introduce biases, even if unintentional.
It's a tough one. But maybe the goal shouldn't be absolute objectivity. Maybe it's about transparency, being open about the biases and working to mitigate them.
So creating AI that reflects the best of humanity, not the worst.
Exactly. AI should enhance our understanding, not reinforce prejudices.
All right. We've covered a lot today. But one last question. If we can't completely eliminate AI bias, how do we, as users, navigate this new landscape? How do we make sure we're not being misled or manipulated?
That's the key question, and everyone who interacts with AI needs to think about it.
So what's your advice? What are the essentials for navigating this world of AI bias?
First, be skeptical. Don't take anything AI generates at face value, no matter how convincing it seems.
Question everything.
Yeah. Ask yourself, who created this AI? What data was it trained on? What are the potential biases? It's like checking the sources of any news article.
Makes sense. Don't blindly trust an AI any more than you'd blindly trust a random website.
Right. And diversify your sources. Don't rely on AI alone for news, research, or decision-making.
So cross-reference, compare different perspectives.
Exactly. By seeing those different viewpoints, you can start to identify potential biases and form a more balanced opinion.
Use AI to supplement your own critical thinking, not replace it.
Well said. And finally, stay informed about AI developments and the ethical
Absolutely. And we have a responsibility to make sure this transformation is a positive one.
I completely agree. We need to be thoughtful, intentional about how we develop and deploy AI.
It's not enough to just talk about human in the loop. We need to ensure that humans are actively shaping the direction of AI, not just passively observing it.
That's a crucial point. It's about having a seat at the table, making sure human values and ethics are baked into these systems from the ground up.
Right. And that requires collaboration across disciplines. We need technologists, ethicists, social scientists, policymakers, everyone working together.
Exactly. This isn't just a tech issue, it's a human issue. It's about our future, and we all have a stake in it.
Well said. So we've explored a lot of complex topics in this deep dive, from AI and air traffic control to the potential for bias in large language models. We've even touched on the possibility of AI being used for ideological manipulation. It's a lot to process.
It is. But hopefully, it's given our listeners a deeper understanding of the challenges and opportunities presented by AI.
I think so. We always aim to bring you the most interesting and thought-provoking AI developments and encourage critical thinking about what it all means.
As always, we've included links to all the stories we discussed in the details below, so if you're interested in learning more, be sure to check those out.
And don't forget to tune in next week for another episode of Pick of the Week, where we'll continue to explore the fascinating world of AI. Until then, keep exploring and stay curious.